Now that Iran attacked the U.S. military base in Qatar, what comes next for the Middle East? Well, joining us now is Richard Haass, President Emeritus at the Council on Foreign Relations. He's also Senior Counselor with Centerview Partners. Richard, it's great to have you back on the show. Welcome. I'm going to ask you the same question I just asked Mark Esper, and that is this attack, which seems to be pretty limited and pretty well intercepted on Al Udeid in Qatar. Does this now provide an off-ramp rather than an escalation in this dynamic between the U.S. and Iran?
Absolutely. It was designed to do just that, to de-escalate. The word that comes to mind is performative. This check the box of saving face, Iran retaliated or responded. But this was designed to avoid casualties, to avoid grounds for American response or escalation. So I actually take this as a good sign, and in some ways reflects the reality that Iran has other priorities right now other than, quote unquote, getting even, which it's not in a position to do.
What would those priorities be? And how much hinges on how much of Fordow and these other nuclear sites were effectively destroyed?
They have two priorities. The most important is to consolidate the regime. It's been attacked heavily by Israel, to a lesser extent by the United States. It's been somewhat humiliating for Iran because it shows that the government cannot protect Iranian sovereign airspace. So my sense is for the foreseeable future, Iran wants to calm things down, stop attacks on it, and essentially probably look for ways to improve the Iranian economy, thinking that will placate the people. I think over the longer run, and it gets to your second question there, I think what Iran wants to do is reconstitute its nuclear weapons program. My guess is one of the lessons they will draw from the last 2 weeks is this never would have happened. Had they had a serious nuclear weapons capability, that would have deterred Israel and the United States. I'm not saying that's right, but my guess is that's their lesson. So even if the attack, say, on Fordow and Esfahan and Natanz were quote-unquote successful, that doesn't mean the United States has made all sorts of significant progress towards denuclearizing Iran. What we don't know, in addition to any bomb damage assessment, we don't know what percentage of Iranian enriched uranium or advanced centrifuges or anything else are located in warehouses and basements we have no idea about.
Richard, Israel kind of tipped its hand, Netanyahu, to wanting regime change several days ago, and President Trump has kind of implied the same. So should we believe that they're willing to put all of that aside for the sake of peace and inspections now?
No, but the problem with regime change is, one, it's a lot easier talked about than implemented. It's a wish, not a strategy. Not a lot of history on the side of those who want to bring it about. If it's going to come, you really need, I think, it to come internally for the most part. I don't see the kind of broad-based opposition you would need that's organized. I don't see the regime crumbling. The last time we brought regime change to a country in some ways was what, Iraq or Libya. And Libya turned out to be a fiasco. It's chaos. And in Iraq, you saw what it took. It took massive, prolonged intervention. And even then, it didn't work out that well. Israel's not going to be in a position to do that. Obviously, neither are we. So again, I don't take regime change all that seriously as an option for either country.
So if you start to see actions that imply that that's happening, what would those be?
I'm sorry, what happening?
That Israel and the U.S. are pushing for regime change.
Well, again, I don't think we should. I think it increases the idea that you would have all sorts of fighting with Iran. No, I think what you'll see is Israel potentially going after symbolic political targets in Iran, conceivably some economic targets, but we're not going to want them to go after economic targets. The last I checked, we don't want to necessarily drive up world oil prices. We don't want to give Iran an excuse to attack Saudi Arabia oil facilities or to do something in the Straits of Hormuz. So I actually think we're going to keep Israel pretty restrained when it comes to hurting Iran economically. So again, I don't think it's a very useful conversation to focus on regime change. If it happens, if I'm wrong and it somehow bubbles up from within, okay, then we'll deal with it. But the idea that you could call in your generals and say, hey, I want to have regime change by Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, there's no way they can take that order and translate it into policy.